Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Andrew Martin here from Andrew Martin Energy, and I am coming to you with your weekly Oracle card reading for July 12th through the 18th. I took a little break last week. I need a little bit of R&R, so I did not get you a reading last week. So apologies if you were looking for guidance from me and you just couldn't find it. But I needed some time off. I needed some time down. But I'm really, really excited to be back. And this is how we do it. We draw 3 cards, one for Monday, Tuesday, one for Wednesday, Thursday, and a third card for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then at the end of the card, I will draw, or at the end of the reading, I will draw another card, a 4th card, and this card will be the answer to your question. Now, obviously, I'm reading for the collective here, so if you are looking for something that is more specific to you and would like a personal reading, you can go to andrewmartin.energy. I'll put all the info in the description for you to go and book your own session on my website. Also, I have an amazing event coming up this Sunday. I have that information below as well. This is the first ever Transformation Energy Circle. I talked a little bit about this, or rather the lighted ones talked about this in my July energy forecast. Healing moves us backwards and transformation moves us forwards, and it is time for us to begin to really move forward through our experience. So the Transformation Circle is coming this Sunday. Again, I'll put all the details in the description for you so you can check that out on Eventbrite and sign up for that. I think that's all the information you need. I hope that you are well. I hope that you are happy. Before we begin, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. It makes a huge difference. I'm going to shuffle these cards, get them woken up, get the energy moving, and then we'll begin the reading. So I'll see you in a couple seconds. All right, here we go. We've got one card for Monday, Tuesday, another card for Wednesday, Thursday, and then our third card for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then at the end of the reading, we'll do the card for your question. First card that I want to share, and I'm taking a second here because sometimes we have what I call a jumper, and that's when you're shuffling the cards or sorting through the cards and one just kind of leaps out. So we have a bonus 4th card, and this to me looks like this feels just like a message, generally speaking. Now, certainly we could use this card as a focus for the week, but this feels like just a bonus. To me, this just feels like Spirit saying, trust, all is well. Trust the actions and the choices that you have been inspired to make. You're going to see here, let me get my pointer. Let's use yellow today. You're going to see here, guess what? Number 1. And you know how I love to interpret the numbers on these cards. Again, I use the Psychic Tarot by John Holland. This is one of my favorite oracle decks and the one that I pretty much use exclusively for readings. And we've got the number 1. Now, I've talked about this before. Number 1 is a choice. Number 1 is action. Number 1 is a decision. Number 1 is moving from the 0. And the 0 we can think of as like pure potential. That's the superposition. That's the unfertilized egg. That is when all things are possible because we haven't quite decided or made a choice yet. And number 1 is an action. Number 1 is a choice. And number 1 is a decision. Now, we also have the sword here, and the sword is almost always representing the masculine energy, right? The sword is a representation of the phallus. The sword pierces things. The sword is a forward momentum. The sword is assertion. The sword is moving forward. The sword is aggression, if we want to think of it that way, although aggression is kind of I don't really like that word these days, but definitely assertion. Definitely it's that masculine energy of, okay, I've made a choice. Okay, I've made a decision. Okay, I've taken action. Now, one of my favorite things about this card, and you can see the symbology here, is we have this hand thrusting itself out of the earth. So the density of the earth, the density of being buried, the density of the sense that you have been buried in doubt. You have been buried in questions. You have been buried in insecurity. You have been buried in all of the old ways which are currently clearing out. Trust me when I tell you that all, and when I say all, I mean all, capital A, capital L, of the old stuff is falling away. All the old density, all the old stuff, all the old clutter, all the old noise, old beliefs, old wounds, old pain, old narratives, old identities. It's the identity of self. It's the ego as the actor or the performer. And it's like even the costumes are falling away. The stage is falling away. The lights are falling away. The crew. It's like all of that old stuff is dead. It is gone. It is no longer functional. It is no longer applicable. It is no longer relevant. And if you have not yet allowed your masculine self to move you forward with kindness, with love, with compassion and understanding, now is the time to get really, really clear on that masculine energy. And we're going to be working with this energy in the Transformation Circle this Sunday. So what this message is saying, and this is, I feel, again, this is just a bonus for kind of just where we are collectively. And the message for you is trust the inspirations, trust those little nudges, trust the choices you have made. Now, here's the thing. In this new energetic environment, the choices that we make are not necessarily going to bring us instant manifestation. So the bridge between, the gap between choice, action, and manifestation can often feel like it's a million miles away, right? You're like, okay, I did my work, I did my thing, I, made my choice, I set my intention, I took action, and nothing's here. That's okay. That's okay. It doesn't mean that things aren't coming. It doesn't mean that things aren't on the way. Trust the choices you have made. Triumphant success, masculine energy piercing through the density of the old. The number one as the choice, the decision, the action that you have made. Just trust it. Hands open, right? We're not hanging on. We're not clenching. We're not in a death grip. If you're clenching onto something, if you're in a death grip, if you're white knuckling it on that steering wheel, take a breath, let go to release, and then open to receive. So here we go for the week. Fulfillment of wishes for Monday, Tuesday. The number here is a 9. What I'm getting here is that, here's the message. Whether or not you are aware of it, the phase that you have just completed, the intensity of this chapter that started really a couple of months ago around the eclipse season, when that first, was it the lunar eclipse that we started with? I believe maybe it was a solar eclipse. Anyway, the most recent 2 eclipses that we had back to back before the equinox. What this is telling me is that the choices you have made, the action you have taken, the intensity of the passage that you have just come through, this was a fulfillment of wishes. Now, the number here is a 9. I don't know if you can see that, but that's what's really important to pay attention to here. Oftentimes fulfillment of wishes, when that card comes up, immediately the mind goes into material, right? We think of like, oh, fulfillment of wishes. Where's my husband? Where's my car? Where's my girlfriend? Where's my job? Where's my house? Where's my money? Okay, that's one thing, but dig deeper. Go beneath those things, because I've talked about this before, and when we're working with the emotional architecture, we know and we see the truth that the only reason we ever want anything is because of what we think the payoff will be from an energy, feeling, or emotion standpoint, right? I don't want the money because I want the money. I want the money because the money will bring ease. The money will bring confidence. The money will bring, the feeling of success. The money will bring satisfaction. The money will bring a sense of stability or safety. So it's not that we can't want things, but when we're talking about fulfillment of wishes, and wanting things isn't a bad thing, we're in a material universe, so materialism is going to be a part of our experience here. But when you put materials first and people second, that's when you get into trouble. But what we're talking about here is the fulfillment of wishes has been what you have just gone through energetically, has been preparing the way for the stuff, for the things, for the physical experiences to arrive. So fulfillment of wishes is saying, number one, 9 is completion. We are at the end of an intense chapter. We are at the end of that road that felt so rocky and so rough and so often impossible to make sense of, right? Am I going left? Am I going right? Am I going the right way at all? Should I go and turn backwards? Should I do a 180 and switch? It's like we couldn't, it was almost impossible to see the forest for the trees. You've completed that phase, and fulfillment of wishes is talking about the experiences you have gone through has been preparing the way for what you asked for. This has been preparing the way. This has been opening the path for what you want in the physical manifestation of it to arrive. I talk about this a lot. The first step in creating something is oftentimes releasing the current version of it, right? I can't build the house on my acre until I've cleared the land, until I have removed all the existing structures, until I have done the excavation of digging the foundation and digging down into the soil. Now, a secondary message here has been, and this has been a thread that we have seen consistently through the past couple of weeks, is just let it go. Just let things go. When all else fails and you're not sure what to do with it, just, okay, hands up, spirit. I'm not entirely clear on what I'm supposed to be doing with this information or this insight or this impulse or this nudge. So until I'm clear, I'm just going to sit with it. I'm going to honor it. I'm going to let it be present, and I'm going to watch it and allow it to tell me what it is. But just trust that where you are right now is the perfect spot for Monday, Tuesday. Then we're looking at Wednesday, Thursday. And what we've got here is the sacral chakra, number 2, right? So we're talking about things coming into balance, because 2 is when we get to, number 1 is not necessarily a balanced number. Number 1 is, the sense of self, the sense of identity, the sense of emerging forward and making a choice and sort of individuating the self. But when we get to 2, we're talking about more balance now. Now we have light and dark. Now I have chocolate and vanilla. Now I have male and female. Now I have left and right. Whatever these two opposites or these two opposing forces are, what we're talking about here is the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is that gateway through which the energy of creation moves. We're not just talking about physical creation or sexual creation, although the sacral chakra is attached to the reproductive organs. But what we're talking about here is just the flow of universal creation energy is moving in a very, very big way. And part of what this fulfillment of wishes was, when we're talking about clearing the path and clearing the way, a lot of what we've been going through and a lot of what you have been experiencing, especially those of you that have been experiencing some intestinal stuff, right? A lot of the ascension symptoms that we are going through right now are very physically focused, and for many of us, it's in the lower regions. So we're talking abdominal stuff, we're talking stomach stuff, we're talking gut issues, because a lot of our old cellular memory, old programs, old neural pathways, a lot of the old biological memories and biological information of our past and our history, it's stored in the body. And so as we're going through these leveling up phases like you've just been through, right? The number 9, again, the completion of that intensity. A lot of the intensity and a lot of the purging or the releasing has been through the physical body. So if you've been going through an actual very real physical, like, oh my God, things are upset down there, things are not balanced, things don't feel well, and maybe you even went to the doctor and the doctor was like, everything's fine, just drink more water and eat some yogurt or take a probiotic or whatever the advice was. What this card is saying is, number 1, a lot of what you have been going through, especially if you've been having intestinal or digestive difficulty, again, this is the release of that old stuff. It's letting go of those old layers. It's shedding. It is very literally the purging and the shedding of old information that has made its way into biology. And now you are sitting with a sacral chakra that is much healthier, much more balanced, and much clearer in its energy. So what I get the sense this message is telling you is that this week, especially around Wednesday, Thursday, new impulses are going to start to come in. As this new information begins to integrate into the body and you begin the process of embodiment, then it's going to be a different experience of suddenly new ideas, suddenly new inspiration, suddenly like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. Or, oh my God, the answer was right in front of me the whole time. This thing that I've been like busting my butt, looking for insight, looking for answers, it's been here the whole time. It's just we needed to make way. We needed to clear out that sacral chakra to make room for more energy and more information. And again, the triumphant success card, we can use this as a collective message just for where we are generally, but I think relevant to and relative to the reading this week. This card is telling me that pretty much anything you do, any choice, any step, again, the number 1, any choice, any step, any decision that you made, as long as the choice or the step or the decision is divinely guided, as long as you are making it from a very clear sense of self and of truth, it's golden. It's golden. Things only get a little bit wobbly and a little bit wonky if I'm doing it because I think, well, maybe this will get them to notice me, or this will get the likes or the attention, or this will, justify or validate or whatever. We don't have room for that right now, guys. It's got to be about your own sense of self, your own creative impulses, and really paying attention to those rhythms. And that's what the sacral chakra is here to tell you, is that the reset that we have said, we have recently gone through energetically has opened up these beautiful new vistas and these new realities for us. And what that means is that in many ways we're starting with a clean slate. So trust those impulses, trust those inspiration, trust those little nudges. And again, if you're not entirely sure what to do with it, say, hey, Spirit, I think I have an answer. I think I have an understanding, but I'm not entirely sure. So I'm going to sleep on it. Just set the intention that you're going to give it 24 hours and then pay attention to what you're getting in terms of insight or intel or messages around your issue. But what this is telling me, friends, is that the sacral chakra is ready to go. Your engine of creation is primed, it is pumped, it is cleaned out, the fuel is in there, it's ready to go. I even get the sense that it's starting to idle. And so these impulses and these desires and these dreams are going to start to emerge. So pay attention, pay attention. And just because it's small, just because it might seem insignificant, don't get it twisted, that doesn't mean anything. Size doesn't matter. The only part of us that thinks that size matters is the ego. I'm going to tell you that much right now. So here we go. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the waiting game. Here we go. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday gives us all this hustle, all this muscle, and we're ready to go. And then boom. Womp womp, the waiting game. I know no one likes this card. Seldom do I like this card, but there's an interesting thing to pay attention to here. Again, number two. Number two. Now, this is the progress, right? We started this reading with number one from the Triumphant Success card. So we've made a step, we've made a choice, and the choices that we've made have been predicated really by this fulfillment of wishes, the number 9, the clearing out of all this stuff. Then we get the number 2 with the sacral chakra card, which is the second energy center if we're looking at the traditional 7 chakras. And then we're looking at the waiting game. Now this again still is in number 2. And if we look at what we have here, the thing that's pointing itself to me here is, see this? This is an infinity symbol. If we put this hourglass on its side, guess what? I'm trying to do this backwards. This is pretty impressive. I can actually do it. But we've got the infinity symbol. But the waiting game is telling me that this pause, this momentary gap, has nothing to do with you. It's not because you've done the wrong thing. It's not because you messed up. It's not because you went left when you should have gone right. No, this is just talking about divine timing. Things are moving so rapidly right now energetically, y'all, that it's just 1 minute to the next minute to the next minute. Things are all over the place. We've got timelines that are collapsing, timelines that are converging. We've got old layers of self that are just completely collapsing forever. Like these old, like sort of leftover versions of self, of personality, of the old identity. They're just dropping like flies. And so the waiting game is telling me we're just waiting for things to come into balance. We're waiting for that infinity symbol to come back to the center, right? Because we've got the infinity that, it's that figure 8 on its side, and it always, the middle is the key right now. The center is the key right now. So stay in that center, in your core, in yourself. Stay in the center over the weekend and just trust that if you suddenly come up against a little bit of a hurdle, because what I'm getting the sense here that the waiting game is talking about, this isn't you, this is other people. So this is your business partners. This is the bank that you just asked for a loan. This is the person that you just, submitted a proposal to. This is, the grant that you just wrote to ask for money or support or whatever. So the waiting game in this context is telling me that you're only having to wait because we're just waiting for other people to catch up. We're just waiting for other people to show up. We're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. I say this all the time. Even Martha Stewart has to wait for the cake to bake. So sometimes divine timing just says, yeah, you just got to wait for a second. Now, it doesn't mean anything bad, doesn't mean anything's gone wrong. It's just, again, and this is where the number 2 comes in, because it's not just you anymore. This isn't just the number 1 solitary solitude. The number 2 is saying there's other people involved. There are other moving parts. And this is the reality. As we're moving into this new earth energy, as we're moving into this, this ascended reality, what we're talking about is not codependent, but interdependent. We're talking about cooperation. We're talking about, I have the key and you have the lock, so let's put the two together and see what we can open up, right? So the number 2 is also about partnership. It's about collaboration, and it's about the other. So when you're in partnership, whether it's romantic, business, platonic, or just some random person that you decided to do something with, whatever, the number 2 is saying, yeah, we've got to wait for things to come into balance. And so it's that game of catch, right? I take my choice, I take my action, I take my inspiration, I do what I got to do, and then I throw the ball to you. And now I'm just waiting for the ball to come back into my court. That's all that the waiting game card means. So, find a good movie to watch, find something to do on, over the weekend that will take your attention off of the thing, and just trust that your manifestation, that the next step, that the next action, the next choice is on its way. You just got to give it some time. All right, So now we are going to draw your card for the question. Take a breath, take a beat, find that space inside, and then we will draw the question, draw the card as the answer to your question. All right, and your card for your answer is fertility. I love this card. And the answer to your question is yes, as long as it's coming from the heart. That is the only requirement. That is the only condition. That is the only stipulation. That if you're not moving, acting, deciding, creating, saying yes, saying no, saying maybe because you are inspired by your heart, then what are you doing? You're just wasting your time. You can see the image of this person who is so, I mean, she is just fertile. And this card has been coming up several times over the past couple of months in readings. It's not the first time we've seen it, but you can see like her head is in the game, right? She's got this little halo of divinity around her head. She's got the halo of divinity around her entire upper torso. I'm sure that if we were to see her feet, we would see another halo of divinity down around, you know, the lower part of her body. She's cradling her womb here. Like she's literally, everything is bringing us to the heart. Yes, but only if it's from the heart. Because if it's not from the heart, it's just someone else's agenda. And you know this. You know this. That's why you're asking the question. You know this because you currently have a choice. You have a choice between the quick, easy, don't have to risk anything choice, right? I don't have to be vulnerable. I don't have to speak my truth. I don't have to go out on the ledge that the heart is asking me to go on, right? There's that choice, which is like the crappy fast food choice, which is going to fill you, but not fulfill you, right? It'll fill you up and you'll be full, but then you'll be bloated and gassy and have hot dog fingers. So you can be full, you can be filled, or you can be fulfilled. And you're only going to be fulfilled if you're asking from the heart. You're only going to be fulfilled if you follow what the heart is guiding you to say yes to. So that might mean that you have to say no to something else. And that might mean that someone else has to be disappointed or that you perceive that they will be disappointed. But if it's not the heart, what are you doing? What are you doing? And if you don't believe me, then say yes to the other thing and see how it works out. That's always a choice too. But you know what you want. You know what you deserve. You know what you are worthy of. So stop fucking around. That's your answer. There you go, my friends. So lovely to reconnect with you this week. Thank you as always for watching. Again, if you were interested in a private reading, I'll put all the info in the description for you to book. andrewmartin.energy is my website. You can check it out there. Thank you. Thank you. Be sure to sign up for the Transformation Energy Circle that's happening this coming Sunday. It's going to be next level, y'all. It's really, really going to be next level, and I can't wait to share that with you. I love you. Have a fabulous week. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.